Hi everybody, Jared here with DayTraders FX. Nice to be with you guys. It's time for a weekly update. We've got some details that we need to keep an eye on. We've been talking about several things over the last few weeks, namely some opportunities we see in the stock market, opportunities we see in the currency market, and I'm starting to get a little bit curious about what might be in the works overall and kind of where everything is going. And let's talk about what those details are. Okay, so here's a quick look. We want to look at all of these guys right here. I've been talking about this one quite a bit. This is SPY. So this is our S&P ETF here. This is certainly looking interesting to me. I'm just watching this up here and I'm thinking to myself, there's something big going on here. We're at the top of this channel. I'm not ready to call a top on this yet. I don't think that this is totally a massive turning point here. And so I'm just watching this really closely. And what we have is, this consolidation that kind of started in July, and it's just been going sideways. Swings up, swings down, swings up and down, and it's just been going sideways for a couple of months. The market is kind of waiting to go somewhere. It's waiting to kind of get that next signal and that next move. I won't be surprised if it goes higher. It can certainly go higher, but I'm starting to get a little bit cautious and I'm starting to get a little bit curious about where this might be headed. This is quite a little consolidation, quite a little channel that we have here, and I want to just be cautious and careful about what we do, because remember, this consolidation, again, takes us back into July. That's a lot of sideways movement that we've seen in the stock market. And so I'm starting to think to myself, let's be careful. Let's be careful. We're getting into that upper area. It's either going to break and follow through, or it's going to come down a bit. Of course, I'm not trying to call any sort of stock market crash or anything here, but I'm just looking at this as a possible point where we get some dips, right? We get back into the lower part of the range before this starts to head back higher. One of the things that's really kind of signaling all this for me is the VIX. The VIX is sitting at the lowest point it's been since coming back down from the whole coronavirus situation, right? We had the big spike up into the 80s, and then it slowly came back down. And here we are back into those lows. And as I look at those lows, I think to myself, this is a place that we need to be watching closely. I've actually already got some long option positions on the VIX because I'm starting to think, okay, even if this continues lower, I'm going to be prepared for some more upside in the VIX, for some more upward movement. Because if the S&P is kind of bumping up against this major channel high, and the VIX is bumping against this major channel low, and keep in mind this VIX channel takes us back to April or so of this year. So we're getting down into these low levels. This looks like a pretty good spot to see the VIX start to go higher. So I'm long the VIX, and I'm not short the S&P yet, or probably will I ever be. But I think that this is time to start looking for some potential protection here. So as we have the VIX low and the S&P high, those are good correlations, good lineups to see this thing kind of go reverse, right? And see the S&P go down and the VIX go up. And, as I look at the dollar index and I think, okay, the dollar index just kind of is staying weak, had this big run down and it's consolidating. The dollar index is going to be the other important piece of the puzzle as this kind of goes down and kind of just goes sideways and bounces around there, right? We're kind of actually looking for, a couple of things. This could just be doing this and this and this, and it could do this, right? Or it could do what patterns do, which is make a big run, consolidate, and then continue lower. Now, if it continues lower, then that would most likely be more stock market strength. We'd probably see the VIX go a little bit lower. We'd see the stock market go a little bit higher if the dollar consolidates and then continues breaking lower. However, if the dollar consolidates and then starts to run back up, that's going to be the big curious point, right? That's going to be the area where we say, okay, something's cooking here. and we need to be, ready for that whole situation. So it's going to really be dependent upon what we see in the VIX, what we see in the dollar index, what we see in the S&P, to kind of get a feel for where things might be, kind of headed from here. So I look at that, and that's what's got my attention a lot. Now, what gets my attention a lot more along with that is when we look at the currency market and we start to see this kind of stuff happening everywhere, right? This is a massive head and shoulders pattern on the pound yen. Now, what does a head and shoulders pattern tell us? It tells us that the market is likely to, start doing this kind of business. And so, whoops, we got lots of buttons there. But anyways, it's a downward movement, right? It's if we get confirmation, if we get these yen pairs below this neckline, right? We start getting down in this area here, then that's going to be a massive signal that the stock market is selling off, the VIX is rallying, the dollar is probably rallying as well. So big head and shoulders pattern here. It doesn't have to confirm, by the way. This could just continue higher. We could retest this head high and then continue going on from there. So the pound yen is in a big sideways channel here, and it's all going to be dependent upon what happens right here, right? So if we go look at our kind of channel low, it could hit that channel low and bounce up, or it could hit that channel low and break out and head down. If it breaks down, if it goes down, that's going to be, motivated mostly by the stock market selling off and by the VIX shooting higher. So if we get confirmation, at this point, this is just really in a rising channel. This could stay very bullish. We could see the yen pairs continue to go higher. But if they go lower, then that's stock market trouble, right? That's big stock market trouble, and that's big yen trading opportunities. The yen strengthens. Now, if it was only the pound yen that was showing this, I would say, could go either way. May not do anything, may do something, who knows. Here's the euro yen, right? What do we see in the euro yen? Exact same thing, right? Big head and shoulders pattern. And we're just waiting for confirmation. We're waiting for this guy to get down here below. Now, this looks exactly like the pound yen, right? And so if euro yen and pound yen are showing big head and shoulders patterns and coming down, we might have something that we need to be paying attention to. Let's look at the Swiss yen. Oh, what do we have there? Rounded top, big head and shoulders pattern. This one is almost confirming, by the way. Swiss yen down here. Might be time to start shorting this one and or looking for what the broader implications are in the market, which is more stock market weakness. So Swiss yen is starting to make a bit of a move here, and that's something we need to pay some pretty close attention to. CAD yen, a little bit choppy, not giving us quite the same signal. Aussie yen, same thing, right? Head and shoulders pattern, waiting for a neckline to break, waiting for all this stuff to happen. So as we look at all this and we say, okay, yen is showing a very bearish pattern on yen pairs across the board, which again means yen strength, and that means stock market weakness. It makes me curious about what we're seeing starting to unfold in the stock market. It makes me think we're going to have some great opportunities to potentially short the S&P, to potentially be long the VIX, to potentially be long the dollar, right? Because if the dollar starts to, if all this starts to unfold, the dollar should strengthen. So I'm just looking at this across the board, and I think that these are some of the most important opportunities and some of the most important things that we can look for. So probably the biggest focus in the currency market needs to be on yen pairs, trading yen strength. In other words, trading Aussie yen down, trading euro yen down, trading pound yen, Swiss yen down, down, down. So I think those are going to be some of the big opportunities that we have coming up there. Likewise, along with all of that, we have, other Aussie pairs that are setting up and other big trades that, that I still love. I'm still very much married to the fact that the pound Aussie must break out and head higher. I'm just planning on that. I'm counting on that. I believe that that is going to happen because we have great patterns and great reasons to believe that that will follow through. But I don't want to get too off track. I want to stay kind of on that yen focus. I think Euro yen, Pound yen, Swiss yen, Aussie yen are all looking very, very good for continued selling pressure. So I want to keep those things in mind. In regards to the stock market, we have a lot of things happening here. I've recently put a new trade on back over here. I put a bullish trade on Kohl's, KSS. It's doing great, right? It's doing real good. We're starting to take out some of these highs. We're starting to take out some of these levels. And so slowly we're getting out of this channel. We're getting out of this sideways movement. We're making new highs. So this trade's doing really good, too good, and seems to be going in the direction doing what we want it to do. Likewise, I'm still very interested in the airline stocks, right? Airline stocks are up. They're holding, they're going strong. We need to be trading airline stocks higher. We need to be trading airline stocks higher. Delta and Southwest are kind of my two favorites. They have the cleanest looking charts and they're doing the best for us. So a couple of retail stocks, a couple of airline stocks. The banking stocks are all doing really well also. Bank of America making a nice little run here. All these banking stocks are doing quite well and making some big moves for us. So let's be trading the banking stocks higher. Let's trade the airline stocks higher. Let's trade some retail stocks higher. I think those are going to do well. I think we're going to see things in tech stocks. We're going to see this kind of stuff probably play out a little bit, right? We're starting to get some topping out patterns and candles and so on here. We're going to see how this plays out. We're going to see where these tech stocks go, but I think we have some pretty good opportunities for those guys as well. So we have some good things in the works, guys. Remember, go visit us in the trade group and stop by the members website. You can see a little bit of what we are doing in the trade group. You can see what we do over at DayTraders FX. So just come over to the stop by our website, say hi, see what we're up to. We're doing some long-term currency trading, some short-term automated currency trading. We're doing a lot of option and stock trading, and it's all just going awesome. So it's good stuff. Hopefully this is helpful, useful information for you, and I wish you a very happy rest of your week. Let's all make some money and stay on the right side of some of these big movements that I think are potentially coming. Thanks, everybody. Nice seeing you all. Take care, guys.